Greetings, folks. How you doing? It's definitely been a minute or so, and yeah, been an eventful week, an eventful few months, I think, in the world of AI and photography, generative image making. And I think this week in particular was kind of a milestone moment or a watershed moment when Adobe introduced generative image making to their latest beta for Photoshop. I've been kicking the tires on the beta there, just testing it out, and want to walk through with you maybe some of my early experiments with it, and also just to show you how it works and talk through, think out loud about what's going on here, the implications. Yeah, I do think it's a pretty revolutionary, transformative, disruptive. Pick your adjective of choice there. It's a big deal, I think. So let's take a moment and take a look at it together, and yeah, just think out loud and walk through some stuff here. Unscripted here today, so yeah, we'll see what we get. Yeah. Oops, let's make a little transition over to Photoshop. So I'm showing you my screen there. Hopefully that's coming through loud and clear. This is just a silly example, and it's a photo that I'd taken of some ducks here in Yellowknife. And this is kind of the first little test that I did with Photoshop AI, with their generative AI. A few things going on in this one I just want to point out to you. Maybe the most obvious in the foreground here, this ice cream cone. Spoiler alert, there was no ice cream cone floating in the water. And this was something that I requested from AI. And I just want to be clear, we're talking about generative AI. This is machine learning. This is not me saying, hey, find me some clip art and then put that there and then composite it in and blend it in. That's interesting technology in its own right, how things get composited in. But this is machine learning. This is an algorithm. This is a computer, if you will, thinking about what is an ice cream cone. I've studied ice cream cones. I've studied dessert. I've studied everything in the training set that AI goes through, whether it's ChatGPT or Midjourney or any of these tools. They go through a training period and a training set. And so that after they've completed training, it's no longer about retrieving a specific image. It's about learning the associations between types of images, between components of images, between different aspects of whatever the language is that it's working with. So with ChatGPT and OpenAI's ChatGPT, it's about the written language, and with Midjourney, it's about a visual language. It's about the relationship of where certain pixels are in relation to others. And so I'm not 100% up to speed on exactly what Adobe is leveraging here in the background. I believe it's their own proprietary approach that respects the copyright and only uses images for training that had been part of their Adobe stock library. But this is not one of those images. It was trained on those images, but this is the AI generating. Here's what I think you mean by an ice cream cone. Now, I might have imagined an ice cream cone had some ice cream of some sort in there, but this is literally just the cone, and that's literally all I asked for. And you can see it's kind of feathered in nicely with the bokeh in the foreground. The lighting is matching the lighting that was on the birds there, where they're kind of backlit, or the light's coming primarily from back and to the right there. Also in the background, pretty obvious, I did a major block selection and said, put some robots back there. Just, again, a very generic request. And this is what the Adobe AI thought I meant by robots and what robots might look like in this image. Pretty crazy. And finally, I don't know if this is the most important, the thing that jumped out to you perhaps, but lastly, I selected the head of one of these ducks and said, make that a cute little puppy. And this is its take on that. Nightmares for days here, I think. This is some sort of a crazy demon, fluffy, fuzzy goat thingy. And yes, I think, so many people latch onto these mistakes and these errors and say, wow, look, it sucks, or it's terrible, or it's crap. But the reason it's crap is because we're seeing the early days of this is the machine learning about what you want and cobbling it together from scratch. This isn't copy paste. This isn't clip art. None of that. This is the AI saying, well, you've circled this head of a duck. You want me to turn that into a puppy? I'll try my best. That's literally what's going on here. Yeah, fascinating. And I think there's just so many considerations and implications for um, ethics around photography. We've already seen AI assisted or completely AI generated images win photography contests. Um, Whether or not you believe those creators did so, in the right spirit or not. Some of them claim to have done it to like make a point or whatever, and I think others were doing it simply because they thought they could win. But yeah, fascinating, terrifying times that we're entering here. But yeah, instead of just showing you kind of this end result, that was cut to the chase, some end result there. I want to walk through some of my favorite images from the last couple of years here in Yellowknife. This is a little fox kit. Had a great little encounter with them, and yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here, and we're doing this in real time together. You're probably not going to be able to see on my cursor too well, but I'm going to select an area on top of its head that's vaguely hat-shaped. And then now I'm going to, in this box, say Generative Fill, and you type in the box whatever you like. Let it figure it out. But I'm going to say put a black baseball cap on this fox. Black baseball cap on the fox. Let's see what we get. And now let's go in real time. You can see it actually moves fairly quick, the progress bar there. I'm not 100% familiar, or I didn't read much up on how Adobe is working, if we're like, using cloud services behind the scenes, if this works offline. I'm presuming it does not work offline. Yikes. Okay. So you can see there's a hat-shaped thing on this fox. It seems to have tried to integrate it a certain way. I'll also point out that when you get your results here, usually you get 3 results, a few different ones. Okay. Interesting. Look at that. Okay. But you can see also, not only are the hats different, but they're also integrated in different ways too. Like you can see that the fur is changed. It's kind of intelligently compositing whatever it thinks this hat is onto the fox. And maybe it's having a hard time because a baseball cap, like, there's usually not room for massive ears to be sticking out of there. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Now let's see. How about we try something else? I'm going to circle a certain area around the eyes here and say, give me some sunglasses. How about some shades? Because this fox is starting to look cool, right? What if this time, instead of like a sentence, last time I said, put a hat on this fox. What if I just say sunglasses? Let's see what we get here. And I'm being obviously completely ridiculous. These are, images that somebody's going to scream right away, well, they're fake or they're photoshopped or whatever. It's not trying to fool anybody here. It's just kind of being creative. Okay, these sunglasses maybe did a little better job than the baseball cap, but we'll call it a fox baseball cap up top. And again, we got 3 options for sunglasses here. Oh my God. Oh my God. These all look really, they're even like fox colored. They're kind of like all copper frames and stuff. And again, I'll just emphasize that what we're looking at here is not a stock photo or a stock image or clip art of sunglasses composited on. This is the AI saying, what are sunglasses? Sunglasses are usually 2 things and they're connected by a thing. And this is that AI trying to generate. That's where the word generative comes from in generative AI. It's trying to generate these sunglasses. It's not drawing from an existing library when it's actually creating this stuff. It was working with the library when it got trained, but when it's generating it, it's going bit by bit. And this is kind of crazy and wild to me. Look at that. Okay, so being absolutely crazy here. I'm just going with the flow. But let's see. Okay, I'm assuming this is going to be a massive fail, but I'm going to draw an area back here and say, put a backpack on this fox. Crazy little fox out for a hike, as you know foxes do. Oh, I was like, it didn't do anything, but look at that. It's a tiny little. Whoa, what? Okay, I think that was a. Look at that. It put another fox on the fox. I think that's also a result of my command to it saying putting a backpack on the fox. Probably if I would have just said backpack. I don't know. I'm still learning this stuff too, but I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. Let's look at another image here. So these are a couple of loons. I took a photo on Back Bay here in Yellowknife. And for this one, like, what if we put some in the background? Because this is just the loons pure on nothing but a sea of bokeh going on there. But what if we said, let's like put some reeds or whatever in the background there. Marsh grasses. Reeds. Marsh grasses and reeds. I don't know. I've got an idea in my mind. Let's see what the AI thinks belongs there. Okay, that does not look like marsh grasses. Oh, that does. That's kind of creepy. But look at that. Again, so yeah, we got some grasses back there and they're totally blended in and bokeh'd out. Now, what if in the foreground, I said, let's put some lilies. Water lilies. And so now we're kind of entering this area with the type of edits I'm making here, or maybe these are more plausible. These are ways people could like augment their own image and it would be believable. People might, make some tweaks to an image to help it win a contest or something. Again, very subtle. Okay, what the hell? That's almost nothing. Interesting. Should we try that again? Say water. If I just said lilies. Oh, lily pad. If I put some lily pads in there. Yeah, so it's really interesting. You see that last one was just so subtle. It was basically nothing. And like, I don't know what's going on. If it's trying to say how on earth would a lily pad fit into this sea of nothingness? But right now it sure did a damn good job. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 plausible with varying degrees of bokeh there. But that first one is actually the most believable, I think. Like, look at that. Like if I was to have initially shared that image like that, I mean, yeah, maybe the luminosity or the brightness or the saturation or that's kind of some screaming yellow and stuff. But I'd be hard pressed to imagine somebody would say, oh, you faked that photo. It's total, forgery or something. Now, I had this other little idea here too, because we know with wildlife photos, with wildlife photography, sometimes it helps to show a specific behavior or something. When you get a wildlife photo that would take it over the top. What if I just said that this loon had caught a minnow? And I don't know if that makes sense or whatever, but let's just say minnow. I don't know if it makes sense to just say the thing or kind of explain how the thing ought to be integrated. Like if I said, minnow in the bill versus minnow. Okay, that's look at that. Okay. That's crazy. Okay, this one is kind of like the best integrated. Let me zoom in there. Yeah, it's a tiny little fish. Almost looks like there's a hook there. It's like if the AI had been trained on, again, images of minnows with hooks in them, because that's often, if you're fishing, that's how you might use a minnow. That's it could be a hangover, if you will, from the training set. Let's keep on moving here. Yeah, for this one, I'm just gonna make it a little bigger. I had this idea with this one. of, again, these are like trees in the forest, and this beautiful, I think they're tamaracks that change to the golden color. And I thought, what if these trees were skyscrapers instead? So let's give that a shot. Skyscraper. Boom. Let's see what we get. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, look. I mean, again, I've never seen a skyscraper quite like that. Not a lot of windows. But again, it gives you these different variations. Holy smokes. Wow. Again, another dystopian, scary looking skyscraper with no windows. But this middle one is interesting. It's even got, if I zoom in here, it's got like dirt on the tiles or whatever. It's like got some grunge going on there. What if I, on this side, said like skyline instead of skyscraper, but just like put in a whole bunch. Or cityscape skyline. I think it's not gonna be perfect, but we'll see. And again, just iterate, try different versions. But look at this, the first skyscraper there too, how it basically, it knew to composite it, and it's behind the foliage and the shrubbery up front. Oh my God, we got streetlights, cityscape skyline. Oh my God, look at that. It's just kind of like put these random buildings and elements of a cityscape skyline into the image. Like, wild. Okay, all right. Okay, now with these two here, I always thought these ducks, they just reminded me of that classic, if you're Gen X enough or boomer enough like me, it reminded me of the Lady and the Tramp movie from the 80s there too, where we got I think that was the one, Lady and the Tramp. But yeah, why don't we put a little bowl of spaghetti in the middle so they can have their little meet cute. Bowl of Oh my God. Okay, we got spaghetti. There's no bowl here, but there's spaghetti. This first one looks like the most, look at that. It's like even got these little, gotta zoom in here, like little mini waves that are like integrated and lapping up against the spaghetti. So let me just cycle through these here. Yeah, you can see again, it affects like the area around each of them. It's not just like inserting an element and then feathering the edges or whatever. It is making sure that it fits in appropriately. Yeah, I kind of like this one in the middle here. The best. Oh, that was the first one. Anyways, that's the Lady and the Tramp ducks out on Niven Lake here in Yellowknife. Totally happened. Am I going? How much of this video is me out of focus? Okay, we're gonna see if we're gonna do a redo on this video at all with me going in and out of focus at all. But yeah, that's just cute. And okay, well now with this one, Bird in Flight, I had this idea. Why don't we just put like a little fighter jet in there too? That totally does not make any sense. But Maverick has got their wingman. Maybe that's the sort of area that would fit. Let's say F-35 fighter jet. Maybe that instruction is not very good, but and we'll see if it makes it blurry because I put that request in a bokeh blurry area of the photo, or if it can understand that I want something in the foreground. Okay, we got foreground. Looks like a one-winged or a crazy janky winged one wheel. Oh my God, this one's a bomber. Look at that. Oh my God. Look at these like swept wing, swept wing fighter bomber. No pilot, no room for a pilot on that one, because of course, who needs a pilot when you got AI to fly your planes, right? Um, that looks like a B-2 bomber sort of thing. That's just crazy. Okay, so I mean that was interesting there too. There it knew, or it made sense to have that not be out of focus in the bokeh area there. Okay, so I mean I've just been crazy. I've been being crazy here with things, more or less real, spaghetti in the water, skyscrapers, and then some crazy hiking fox with sunglasses on there. But I think this is just fascinating technology and what's going on here. I'd love to hear, yeah, what do you think? Leave a comment or let me know what you think about AI and photography. Is this just like no big deal because Photoshop has always been a thing? Again, the darkroom, you got Ansel Adams, you've got Henri Cartier-Bresson using every single tool available to their disposal. So is this just more of that? It's like no big deal. Technology is gonna technology, so let's just go with it. Um, Digital photography as well too was again really controversial and transformative. And in the early days of digital photography, like 25 years ago or so now, they were the earliest digital cameras producing 1 megapixel or sub megapixel images. They look like crap, and maybe there was an argument for a few months or a few years about digital photography is never going to match the quality of film photography. And you still have people kind of saying film photography has got it's more it's warmer and more latitude and all that stuff too. But I think by and large that debate is well and truly over for probably close to 10 years now. um, yeah, is what do you think about AI and photography? But I mean, for me anyways, it's like AI and photography is just one area. It's like photography, it's design. We've got generative AI in Photoshop now. We're probably going to have it in Lightroom in a couple more weeks. Who knows? Um, Generative AI is coming to the Microsoft Office suite. It's coming to Word. It's coming to Excel. So we're not just talking about manipulating images. It's like generating words, generating text, calculating and solving things, analyzing your data. This is research. This is science that's been transformed. And I do think it's really interesting that, for 50, 60, 70 years or so, the biggest, transition in the way we live and work has been this adjustment to being more of a knowledge economy, or, valuing what thoughts and ideas and creativity somebody brings to the table. That is how we've generally pivoted towards, valuing and rewarding human contribution to an organization or to society or to your employer. And with AI, it sure seems like those types of jobs, perhaps ironically, are going to be some of the first to go, or the first that get massively disrupted. Like, just think about even lawyers, like, write me a legal opinion on why X, Y, or Z person ought to not be evicted from their rental suite, or analyze this 1,000-page PDF and summarize it for me, give me an executive summary, and then put that into a PowerPoint, and then give me a voiceover, because you're AI and you can synthesize voices too, right? So even me talking to you and giving you my opinion and all that stuff, this is all fodder for AI to come in and just do the same thing or do it better. And we can see with some of these examples here that, yeah, it's clumsy. It doesn't always get exactly what you're thinking or what you're wanting. It's getting a hell of a lot better. If you've used Midjourney for anything more than 5 or 6 months, last year Midjourney was kind of producing these kind of hallucination sort of results where it's okay, this is AI's idea of what I was asking for. And it seems like Photoshop is kind of at this stage right now, this kind of early to Midjourney development. But Midjourney is completely, if you've seen version 5 or 5.1 or whatever they're on now, it's just completely, undeniably 100% photorealistic. And if I had gone into Midjourney to say I want this photo of a snarling fox pup with a bokeh blurred out background, I could have done that too. Just start from scratch and say, just give me that image. Or that spaghetti in the water again. I can go into Midjourney and say, give me a photo of a fancy pasta dish with a basil garnish and a glass of red wine in the background. Boom. Product photography, food photography. I mean, yeah, just massive transformation there to what's going on. And maybe we'll get cameras that can focus in the future. Wouldn't that be something? Honestly, I think I've got like face detection, something going on here. Shouldn't be having some issues, but anyways, the AI will fix it in the video. Don't worry. Yeah, so crazy stuff. Just want to walk you through and show you some of my kicking the tires on Photoshop's generative AI tools that just launched this week at the end of May 2023, and we'll see how things go. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you're having a good one, and yeah, let's buckle up. I think it's going to be quite a ride with AI.